Hello, friends. Sally the Seeker here. This next video I'm going to share with you is some, what do I have? How should I say it? Some pieces of other videos I've put together. It's kind of like a puzzle piece. Let me try to explain. Okay, so this is Officer Moss, and I actually covered, I'm pretty sure, his full testimony. It was back, I want to say, like around February 24th, the end of February, something like that. But if you look in my videos, if you haven't seen his testimony, it is very good. Officer Moss, he's a very clear, concise, and, doesn't mess around. Brooks doesn't, faze him, of course, with his stupid questions. But the title of that video is Darrell Brooks Trial, No Match for Judge Darrow and D.A. Opper. Let me say that again. Darrell Brooks' trial, no match for Judge Darrow and D.A. Opper. And you're going to find his full testimony. So you may have already seen some of this, but what I'm going to do is get pieces out of it to put it together, because one of Brooks or Darrell's witnesses is linked to Officer Moss. And I'm just going to play a little bit of his testimony so it'll help you understand whom I'm referring to. So right now, Opper is doing direct examination of Officer Moss. And Officer Moss, he goes down there to the parade and he talks to Officer Skolton, whom of course I call Officer Redbeard, one of my favorites, of course, and finds out the description of the vehicle that Darrell was driving. And so after he finds that out, this fellow flags him down and tells him he knows where the vehicle is. He leads Officer Moss to it, and you'll see Brooks trying to ask him questions about what this, I think his name is Lazcano, who flagged him down, but they keep trying to explain to him that it's hearsay. But Darrell, because he's so stuck to those stupid reports that he has in his folders, he's saying, but Officer Moss wrote what this person said. And then they're saying, well, the judge is saying, well, it would be double hearsay. So I figured even if you've already seen it, it's kind of good to piece it all together, because Brooks does end up calling this Lazcano, I think that's how you say it, as his witness. And that's where we will begin to really enjoy ourselves. But let me just do a little bit of this so we can, hopefully it'll help you link it all together better, especially if you haven't seen it. So, all right. What say you, Officer Moss?
At some point, leave that duty and speak with Officer Skolton?
Yes, I did.
Where did you speak with Officer Skolton?
In the vicinity where I was, I ran into Officer Skolton, who approached me from a westernly direction. Upon making contact with him, he advised that he had fired rounds at a red Ford SUV, specifically an Escape. I asked him if he was okay. He stated that he was, and he subsequently said that we needed to find the vehicle.
And did you in fact set out to try and find this vehicle?
I did.
Prior to Officer Skolton telling you that, did you have any vehicle description?
I did not. The radio traffic was complete chaos, with people screaming about injured participants of the parade being all over the downtown area.
So where did you go to look for the vehicle?
Okay, I'm sorry. We got to pause, because look at him. Look at him. He's like, his brows are kind of like meeting one another, and they're a bit furrowed. And he's just what wheels he has in his head, if he does, or marbles that are rattling around in there. He's thinking, okay, this is gonna, I have a feeling I'm onto something. You know, you can just see it. Oh, God. Okay, here we go. Continue on. I just said we had to look at him and make fun of him for a minute, so here we go.
As I was moving my fleet near Donnie Boy's Tavern on Main Street, I subsequently observed a male Hispanic running towards me, waving his hands frantically to garner my attention. And as I asked him what he needed, he subsequently stated he knew where the vehicle was.
Did you understand what he meant by that?
I clarified with him that he was speaking of the vehicle that was indeed involved in the incident in the downtown area, as well as the vehicle that Officer Skolten had fired rounds at. He confirmed this, and I subsequently told him to get into my squad car and began traveling with him.
Do you know the approximate time this was occurring?
The subject approached me at approximately 4:49 p.m.
And so you took the citizen with you in your squad?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
And did he direct you to a specific location?
Yes, ma'am, he did.
Where did you travel?
From my location where I met up with this individual, we traveled westbound on Main Street and subsequently made a left-hand turn to travel southbound on Maple Street. We traveled approximately 2 blocks to the area where I subsequently located the vehicle in the driveway.
How did you know it was the vehicle you were looking for?
Based off what Officer Skolten had previously described to me as a red Ford Escape, I observed a heavily damaged red Ford Escape in the driveway of 338 Maple. This particular vehicle was heavily damaged in the front end. I also observed that there was clothing embedded in the hood, as well as a headband with blue lighting hanging from the side mirror. Additionally, I observed a bullet hole in the windshield on the passenger side.
Did you secure this scene?
I did.
What did you do?
As I exited my fleet, I drew my firearm to clear the vehicle to ensure that it was clear of persons that could potentially harm me based on the information that I had garnered up to this point. And after that was done and rendered clear, additional resources that came to my location, we secured it by taping off the entirety of this particular residence as well as the street.
Okay, so now I've moved on to where Darrell is going to do his cross-examination of the officer, Officer Moss, and you're going to hear Mr. Lazcano's name brought up, and then eventually we'll get to see him on the stand as a witness for Darrell. Can't wait for y'all to see if you haven't already.
You stated that you were flagged down by a Hispanic male running at you waving his hands. Would that be fair to say?
That's correct.
Do you recall his name?
I do.
And would you state it for the jury and for the record?
His name is Abel Lazcano.
And do you recall if Mr. Lazcano gave you any additional information during your traveling to where the vehicle was located?
I don't understand your question.
You stated that Mr. Lazcano got into your vehicle and you traveled to where the vehicle was located. Is that fair to say?
That's correct.
Did you learn any additional information from Mr. Lazcano? How do you say it, Lazcano?
Lazcano.
Lazcano. Did you learn during your travel to where the vehicle was located? Did you learn any additional information from Mr. Lazcano?
Not while we were traveling to the vehicle.
So you traveled to the vehicle in complete silence?
No, he was trying to direct me with the location of the red Ford Escape.
Did he say he saw anyone driving the vehicle?
Objection, hearsay.
Sustained.
So all he told you was where the vehicle was. He didn't tell you if he saw anyone driving it?
Objection, hearsay.
Grounds.
The witness may answer the question as long as he does not answer with hearsay. Go ahead, overrule.
Can you restate your question, please?
So all that the Mr. Lazcano already told you was the location of the vehicle, not if he saw anyone driving?
I object. That question calls for hearsay response, Your Honor.
I would agree hearing that again. Sustained.
Did he at all tell you that he saw someone in the vehicle?
Objection, hearsay.
Sustained.
Grounds for the sustain.
It's hearsay.
This is so funny because I might have even said in the other video where he does it, but he just, I think he still till the day he dies or the 1,000 years come first, he's not going to get a grasp on what hearsay actually means. He's just like, oh, the report said. He just thinks those reports are, but anyhow, I just had to say that.
To ask him what Mr. Lazcano told him would be hearsay.
Yeah, he thinks he knows it, but he doesn't know.
So all Mr. Lazcano did was just direct you to the vehicle?
That's correct.
And not only that, Moss ain't playing. You see that, right? He knows he doesn't have to answer all that crap he's asking.
All you guys talked about during your trip to the vehicle?
Objection asked and answered.
Grounds.
Sustained. It was asked, and I previously sustained the objection. So, next question, please.
When you were able to locate the vehicle, where did Mr. Lazcano go?
Once the vehicle was located, I had Mr. Lazcano stand by in my fleet until other officers arrived to assist me, and then I transferred him over to someone else.
Do you know if he made any report at that time?
Define report.
Did he make any report to law enforcement at that time?
I'm not sure if he did or not.
Do you recall Mr. Lazcano yelling that there were subjects standing outside of the building?
Objection, Your Honor.
I'm going to excuse the jury while I take up a legal issue. All rise for the jury, please.
He just doesn't get it.
Thank you. Be seated. Mr. Brooks, before I have you question this witness any further, it sounds like to me that you are attempting to offer through this witness the statements made by Mr. Lazcano. If that is what you are trying to do, you may not do that. You will have to call Mr. Lazcano as a witness if you so choose, if he's on your witness list. But that your questions are seeking to elicit hearsay from this witness. That's why I had the jury removed so I could explain my ruling and why I'm going to direct you not to ask this witness questions about what Mr. Lazcano may or may not have said.
I'm reading directly from his report.
That would be double hearsay then. Because it's not you need Mr. Lazcano here to say what he told this officer. If you are attempting to offer it for the truth of the matter asserted, which is what I believe you are doing, you're attempting to establish the veracity of something Mr. Lazcano either said or didn't say through another witness. That is hearsay.
So it's not hearsay for the prosecutor to bring up.
I'm not going to talk about other rulings. There's been an objection by the state, and I'm sustaining the objection, and I'm directing you not to ask this witness questions that would call for this witness to say what Mr. Lazcano said. That is hearsay. That is textbook hearsay, Mr. Brooks.
I don't think it's fair for me to object to hearsay from the prosecution along the lines of the same type of thing.
I'm not going to have a debate on what may have come in previously. I know you've made a number of hearsay objections, many of which the answers that were being provided were not hearsay. But I would direct your attention to 908.01 of the Wisconsin statutes. You have that book in front of you that I provided to you a number of days ago at the beginning of this trial or near the beginning of.
Look at him. He's shaking his head. He's getting mad. He's not going to look at it. He doesn't look at anything she gives her because he just thinks he knows it. But he doesn't. I know what hearsay is. I think he says something like that. But he's such a fool.
Of this trial, there's the definitional
Look at
section
him.
of the statutes, which defines hearsay. It also, and then if you go on to 908.02,
I know what hearsay is.
That's obviously one you may want to look at as
Look at him
well.
glaring at the prosecution.
And then 908.03 has the exception. So unless
You
you
don't
can
know
give me
shit.
an exception, sir, as to why this witness should be allowed to answer those questions, I'm gonna again direct you not to ask
directly
these
from
questions.
his report, the report that he
Lord.
wrote.
Yeah, but he wrote.
Nothing is coming from. I'm reading directly from his report. That's what I have to
Doesn't
say.
change the fact that it's hearsay.
You said what?
That doesn't change the fact that it's hearsay.
So
it
his
actually
report
creates
is
another
hearsay?
level of hearsay. It's an out-of-court statement.
Oh my gosh, he doesn't get it.
So
Not this witness made, but what another witness made. So you have to.
So I can't read from his report that he wrote.
You can't ask this witness questions that call for a hearsay answer unless there's no objection from the state. Or you can convince me there's an exception to the hearsay rule that applies. Do you have an exception you'd like to offer to the court?
So I might as well not read the report that he wrote then if I can't question him about the report that he wrote.
That's your misunderstanding, sir. What is hearsay?
Poor
And all I can tell you is I'm sustaining the objection. I'm going to bring the jury back out, and we'll go from there. All right, Madam Clerk, bring the jury out, please.
Clear bias.
Mr. Brooks, I understand you may disagree with
agree to being called that name. For the record, again, I'm here as a third-party intervener on behalf of my client. I don't know why that's not understood by now.
Same reason you don't understand hearsay? Watch it. Look at him glare over at the front.
So I guess I can't bring up the plaintiff either, huh?
Panties in a wad.
I can agree.
All rise.
Such a fool. Okay, so hopefully I have this in the right spot. If not, I'll edit it out or do something. But anyhow, we are now to the moment, well, the day where Darrell is going to call Mr. Lazcano to the stand as his witness for the defense. But there are some things they have to discuss before calling him up. Here we go.
I'd like to continue by bringing the jury out momentarily, Madam Clerk, and having you call your next witness. I trust that you're ready to do that, sir. All right, then.
We need to complete the task.
Oh, we do. I knew I would left something in my office, but I reviewed it, so go ahead. What is the state's request then as it relates to the prior record?
We believe the proper answer would be 7 prior convictions, Your Honor, and that would not obviously be counting the OWI first conviction from 1993, which is at the top because it's the age of that, and obviously that would not have been a crime, but everything from OWI second on down we believe would be appropriate. There's also one that's noted, 06CM2039. It was a case, but all the charges were dismissed and read in, so we're not counting that file either.
Can you go run and get that for me, please? Thank you. Just gonna have that brought back out. I took it with and I left it on my desk. And then remind me the statute again on priors.
90609.
Thank copy of the record was provided to the defendant?
It was. It has not been discussed with Mr. Lazcano.
That was going to be kind of my next topic once I look at this again. All right, Mr. Brooks, do you have a position on the prior convictions for this witness? The state is asking for a determination by this court that there are 7 prior convictions for purposes of questioning the witness, whether that's by you or by them if they so choose. And that would be for a determination under 90609. Mr. Brooks, you may recall at some point I believe we had a discussion about prior convictions. I think maybe we only discussed that if you were to testify, we would have to have that conversation. So in fairness, I don't.
No, there was one state's witness that had one prior that we discussed. In
That's
the court
right,
ruled.
we did. I recall now. So at that point, I directed your attention to 90609, and then I made a ruling based upon the factors that are enumerated in that statute. You've been provided with a listing of the record. I would direct your attention to, I'm not sure if I see that book out there, but the statute book that I previously provided to you, but that the 90609 would be in there. But in any event, the state is asking that I make a determination about how many for purposes of the questioning of this witness. Do you have any comment, statement, or position on that?
Like it's 9 on here.
Which is the one the state referenced that the charges are listed, but they were dismissed?
2000, well, it's recorded as 06 CM 2039, 2 times violate harassment / restraining order, and then it says DM / RI, which means dismissed and read in, 2X MBJ, which would be 2 times misdemeanor bail jumping, dismissed and read in. So no convictions from that file.
So why is it on the sheet?
This would be an accurate listing of the cases that you found when investigating the witness's background.
Yes, Your Honor.
And nothing since 2007.
That's correct.
All right. Any statement you want to make, sir, on what the number of convictions this court should consider under 90609?
What is dismissed and read in? Does that mean there is no charge?
No, it means it was when there was a conviction for something else, the charge was dismissed and read in, and then the court considered it at the time of sentencing. So they are not convictions, but it was a case. So that's why, my understanding why it was listed.
So the 2. So where it says dismissed and read in, that would be the restraining order and the MBJ.
Right, misdemeanor bail jumping. So 2 counts of violate harassment restraining order were were dismissed and read in, along with 2 counts of misdemeanor bail jumping dismissed and read in. I'm guessing, but the state can confirm that it either was read into 06 CM 1859 or 06 CM 3149.
Yes, I believe it was the 1859 case, Your Honor.
So at the time of the conviction for resisting obstructing, there was a misdemeanor bail jumping dismissed and read in, and then the other charges, all of which are listed under 06 CM 2039, dismissed and read in.
So then 8. Should be 8.
The OWI first would not be criminal, as I understand it, and so I believe that's why it's not, the state did not ask it that it be counted. Because the statute requires conviction of a crime or an adjudication of delinquency.
So there's no crime for OWI?
An OWI first would not be a crime, it would be a forfeiture.
I still would say 8, just based on the fact that there's continued OWIs. All the way up to a 5th.
Remind the parties of the factors to consider for exclusion include the lapse of time since the conviction, or in this case convictions, the rehabilitation or pardon of the person convicted, the gravity of the crime, the involvement of dishonesty or false statement in the crime, the frequency of the convictions, and any other relevant factors. So based on that, do you have any argument that it should be less than that?
Less than what, 8?
Well, it'll be less than 7. He has 7 convictions as I count them.
And that's not counting OWI first.
Correct, because it's not a crime, it can't be counted under the statute.
Then it's 7. Should be 7.
All right. Do you want to make any argument about whether any should be excluded under the statute based upon the factors I just read to you?
Well, you already made reference to one of them not being a crime. So that brings it to 8. I don't understand the whole...
Well, for example, the last conviction was in 2007. It's now 2022. So do you want to make an argument to the court that perhaps he's been rehabilitated?
I don't want to speculate on the next man's life. But if it's 7 on here, well, I guess it brings it to 7. And whether OWI first is not a crime, it still counts as what essentially there's nowhere to get to 2, 3, 4, and 5 without the first. Looks like 7 to me.
All right, then. Anything further from the state on this?
No, Judge, thank you.
Given the number of convictions, factually, although the first one's not a crime, the OWI first, Mr. Brooks is correct, is from 1993, and without that you don't get the other criminal OWIs. But I would note the record is from the criminal record is from 1997 through 2007. That spans about a 10-year time span. It's now 2022, but there's essentially an agreement by the parties that there are 7 convictions that are listed here. I've looked at the lapse of time since the convictions. I don't know about rehabilitation or pardon, other than it looks like he did complete the earned release program, which would have resulted in reduction of the initial confinement and then converted to extended supervision. I don't see violations of probation listed, meaning that he was revoked. I see some extensions, but that could be for a variety of reasons. But given that there was a pattern with the OWIs, that the last one was a felony, that goes to the gravity of the crime. And the other issues, I'll find that for purposes of his testimony, that this witness has 7 convictions. He may be asked, have you been convicted of a crime? His answer should be yes. And then the follow-up, how many times? The answer will be 7.
That will have to be told to Mr. Lazcano before he testifies, Your Honor, I believe.
I agree. State willing to relay that information.
I'd rather not, given the accusations levied by Mr. Brooks. I think it's better we do it in open court, Your Honor.
Right.
Okay, so I'm just going to break in for a minute. The reason why I wanted to share this with you, and I thought it was kind of interesting, is that this witness, Mr. Brooks, Darrell, is calling to the stand Mr. Lazcano. Apparently he's had 7 convictions or something, and I know that the prosecution had one similar to that, and I guess if these people have had prior crimes or have been committed, I guess from what I understand, I'm not going to say 100%, but if it's in a criminal case, if they are called as a witness, they will be asked briefly about their convictions without going into a lot of detail, like have you ever been convicted of a crime, how many times, make it short and sweet. I think they're just allowing... Okay, do you see this? I'm going to just keep talking for a minute while she lays her head there. I believe that... thank you very much. You look ginormous. So what they're trying to do is, I guess, let the jury be the judge of, deciding if they feel like they're credible witnesses. Now, I mean, I feel like once somebody's done something, if it's, if it's not lying, I mean, they're probably credible enough. But I think they just have to do that. But I just thought that was interesting. So I guess what they're going to do now is call Mr. Lazcano in and kind of let him know what's happening. So now I will have to try to move this cat. And this is... You didn't know you were going to have this kind of show tonight, did you? Well, I hope you enjoy.
Who's your next witness? Will it be Mr. Lazcano? Because if it is, I'll just have him come in now and I can put him on the stand and advise him of that.
May I ask who's present right now?
For sure, Mr. Hayes and Mr. Lazcano, and I'm not sure the 3:30 witnesses, I think, are probably on their way. They're on their way.
Right, so Hayes and Lazcano are still here.
Yes.
All right. Those are the 2 who are here, sir. I'll tell you what, either way, let's just bring Mr. Lazcano in case he's not your first, but then I don't have to deal with the interruption with the jury. You don't have to call him first unless you want to, but I'll just bring him in and advise him. So if someone from victim witness could bring him in, please. Can I have a first name for this witness, please?
It's Abel, but I believe it's pronounced a different way. It's A-B-E-L.
Abel, thank you.
Subject matter jurisdiction, Your Honor.
Court declines to address that.
Yeah.
Still has yet to be verified and proven for the record.
Your objection's noted
Mm-hmm.
for the record.
So shut your pie hole.
Do you want Mr. Lazcano on the stand, or are you going to call Mr. Hayes first? Just so I know what to do when he comes in.
Pull yourself together, man.
I can't find paperwork from Mr. Hayes. Can a police report or something be provided in case I want
provided. Wow.
Yes, we will accommodate that request. It'll just take me a minute, Your Honor, to find it. I'll have.
Isn't that amazing? You know, they're going to accommodate him again, but he doesn't get that they're helping him. I mean, I can understand being a little paranoid, but he needs to get, you know, he just doesn't get it. He doesn't get it, and he just acts like he's at a hotel and expects, you know, room service and valet parking and bottled water to be provided for him. And Betty doesn't say thank you to him. Let's listen though and see how they're going to accommodate him.
Have to have it printed and brought over, or Mr. Witchow can run. Thank you, Mr.
I will give
Witchow.
you permission to email it to Teresa and she can print it in the courtroom.
Well,
That will assist.
It's part of a 700-page PDF, so I can't just email one page.
Oh, Lord.
I see.
At least I don't know how to do that. Copy and paste it into a document.
Which I will know because he's younger. You know, quit rubbing your temples. Just stop it. You're going to...
Lazcano, I'm just going to have you, for a moment, take a seat. You're not going to testify just yet, but just come up and take a seat just at the end of my jury box for now. I'm not going to come to the witness stand. Everyone can have a seat. I want to advise you that I'm aware you have a prior record. And so for purposes of testimony, I've made a determination that if asked, have you been convicted of a crime? Your answer should be yes. And then if someone asks a follow-up, how many times? The answer to that is 7. Have you heard me say that? Do you understand that? All right, thank you. I'm not sure that you'll be called next, but I wanted to do that while I didn't have the jury here. You can go back out into the hallway then. Thank you.
Oh, he looks like he could snap Brooks like a twig.
All right, then let's have the jury brought out, please.
Well, so he should call Mr. Lazcano first. Because if he doesn't have the paperwork for Mr. Hayes, he needs to call him on out. Because that's just wasting people's time. We'll see what he does, though. Oh, stop it. Pretty soon you're going to, like, get revived and start asking stupid, annoying, irritating, that's the same thing as annoying, questions.
All right.
Let's see what he does. Don't look like you're going to perish. Darrell, you're going to come. Look at his little tiny shoulders.
Thank you, everyone. Please be seated. The defense may call its next witness.
Defense calls, is it Jason Hayes? Jason?
Oh my gosh. Of course, he's going to call the other person first.
All right. We'll have the witness brought in.
So he just finished with the other witness, which was a total dud, and it was his witness, and there wasn't anything really dramatic about it. There was just, he had nothing for him. So now it's time for Lazcano. They're waiting for him to call him.
Quick question before I do, who's supposed to be arriving at 3:30? Just on that.
I'm not sure.
Babietz and Darrell will be here at 3:30. Mr. Lazcano is here now, Your Honor.
Thank you.
I knew who's here now. Just trying to get clarity.
Are you going to call Mr. Lazcano?
It would appear so. He's the one that's here.
What an ass. Okay, so as you can see, he has rallied from his weakened state and massaging his temples. Maybe his Bubba Boo can do it for him now. He's still going to act. Look at those nails. Good gosh. That is pretty awful. Anyhow, so let's see how it goes. But his attitude really sucks. Per usual.
All right,
Sorry.
then you may, the defense is calling Abel Lazcano, correct?
The defense is calling Abel?
Oh, come on.
Abel
Gosh.
Lazcano?
All right, very well, we'll have him brought in. Thank you.
Idiot. Be that way. Sorry, guys. Okay. Sorry for the hand. It's the hand. Okay.
Good afternoon, sir. If you would please make your way to the witness stand. When you get there, please remain standing. Raise your right hand. And my daughter Teresa, who will be across from you or is across from you, will swear you in. Thank you.
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Thank you, sir. Please have a seat. First thing I will have you do is to state your first and last names for the record and spell each.
Abel Lazcano, ABEL LAZCANO.
Thank you. Your witness, sir.
Good afternoon, Mr. Lazcano. What do you do for a living currently?
I'm a hairdresser.
No judgment whatsoever on this question. Have you ever been convicted of a crime?
Yes, I have.
And how many times?
7.
Oh gosh, guys. I gotta get this better. Anyhow. Under forgo it. It's been a long night. The cat knocking everything. So hopefully you. Anyhow. I love it how he says no judgment, and he's probably sitting there going, yeah, I would think you wouldn't have any judgment since, my crimes didn't involve running over people. And, by the way, maybe I can give you some hair tips.
Recall the night of November 21st, 2021 pretty well? I know it's been a minute, but...
Best as I can, yeah.
What were you doing that evening, if you recall?
The Christmas parade?
Were you marching in the parade? Or,
No, I was watching it.
who were you there with? Family, friends?
My wife and my daughter.
Do you recall where you were positioned to watch the parade?
Standing in front of the Corey Insurance on Main Street.
Okay. Is that part of Main Street close to like a side street? If you recall?
Not too far from Abel.
Do you recall the side streets being barricaded during the parade?
I don't remember.
Do you recall what time you arrived at the parade that evening?
It had just started, so whatever time that was at.
You recall something other than the parade catching your attention that day?
People getting hurt, yeah.
And what did you see that day, if you recall?
I saw a red SUV plow over a bunch of people.
Oh boy.
And did you see the driver of this SUV you're referring to?
Yeah, you're standing right there.
Oh, guys. Too awesome. Oh my gosh. This is too good.
And how many people did you see in the vehicle?
Just one, the driver.
So, do you recall flagging down a law enforcement vehicle that evening?
Yeah, I do.
And do you recall what you told the officer that evening?
Not very well.
I'm gonna attempt to see if anything brings back some recollection.
Mm-hmm. We all recollect that you're an idiot.
First, do you recall the name of the officer you flagged down that evening?
Officer Moss.
Do you recall telling Officer Moss that you observed 3 or 4 people in the SUV as it passed you?
I don't remember that.
Come on, get your notes. Get your notes.
So, to your recollection, the SUV that you saw, did it have tinted windows?
I don't remember.
And do you remember what the description was that evening that you gave to law enforcement?
I told him it was a red SUV.
The description of the driver, do you remember that?
I know he was a black male.
Is that all you recall about your description?
That's all I remember.
Come on, keep digging.
After seeing this vehicle, what did you do?
We left. I got my family out of there.
And where did you go?
We headed back to the car.
Do you recall where your vehicle was parked?
I believe it's the Lindholm or what building? It's on Maple Street.
And did you see the vehicle stop on Maple Street?
Which vehicle?
The SUV that you claim you saw.
Oh, no, I didn't see it stop, no. It kept going through the parade.
And speaking with, is it Detective Moss? Well, speaking with law enforcement that evening, do you recall advising law enforcement that you observed 3 black subjects running from the vehicle?
No, I don't remember that.
If it pleases the court, I would like to show the witness this. I'm referring to page 4 exactly.
Is it a statement this witness personally wrote?
I believe it's what, I don't think he wrote it himself.
So it's a summary written by another person.
By, I don't know if it's Officer Moss or Detective Moss. I'm not sure if what his rank is?
Continue with your questions. I'm going to deny the request that you show the exhibit or the paperwork to the witness.
Do you recall making the statements to Detective Moss that you observed one where it says one was described as running southbound on Maple towards College Avenue? Do you recall that?
No, I don't.
Do you recall stating that the other two were described as running in a westerly direction from the rear of 338 Maple Street?
No.
Do you recall stating that one black subject was described as tall, wearing a blue top and blue and black pants, while the other subjects were described as two short black males wearing sweatpants?
Barely, a little bit of that.
So, which of these subjects do you minimally recall wearing those items that evening?
No. You asked me if I remember people running, and I said no. I remember describing those people to him. I remember.
So where did you observe those?
Standing by the vehicle, where I found the vehicle, where I spotted it.
Just so we have clarity, describe the subjects you saw that evening standing by the vehicle.
I don't remember that good. You were describing them, so it brought back a little bit, but I can't tell you that. That was too long ago.
He's like, I don't have time to be up in here listening to you.
And how did you come upon the vehicle at the address of 338 Maple Street that evening?
I was walking my family back to the car, trying to get them to safety. So I was keeping an eye out, and I spotted it.
Do you recall stating that you saw the SUV reverse into a driveway?
No.
Do you recall why that would be reported?
No.
Keep going, Brooks.
When I found it was parked already.
Do you recall when you initially had the interaction with Detective Moss? Do you recall leading him to where the vehicle was ultimately found?
Yeah.
Do you recall yelling at subjects standing outside of the building where or near where the vehicle was that evening?
I remember asking them. I don't remember yelling at them.
This is painful. You know that?
Do you recall why? Do you recall why the report says that You advised Detective Moss that there are 3 black subjects, specifically black subjects, running from the vehicle?
No, I don't remember.
What if Officer Moss just made up the report? I guess he'd get in trouble for that. But wouldn't that be funny if he just wrote all those random things down and Darrell Doofus is using them? I mean, but most people can't remember that stuff, and they were traumatized. That he doesn't understand what traumatized is, because apparently he did not, he was not traumatized by running over multiple bodies. I don't get it. Yeah, a lot of people are talking about that right there, that hairline. Maybe that fellow, can talk to him about working on the hairline.
Were you yourself injured in this incident that evening?
No.
He just is like sitting there reading it like he has all the damn time in the world. And meanwhile, I bet you all the jurors had to get those donut cushions because they had to sit so doggone long. Look at these guys.
Do you recall stating that, well, let me back up for a minute.
I hate when he backs up. God.
Did you speak with another detective that evening, if you recall?
Yes, I did.
Oh, great.
Do you recall if that was Detective Coates?
I don't remember his name.
So it'd be fair to say that you spoke with 2 different law enforcement officers that evening.
Sure, why not?
Do you recall in your interview with Detective Coates, in reference to the vehicle that you saw that evening, do you recall telling Detective Coates that it appeared there were 3 or 4 people in the Ford Escape as it passed you?
Escape.
Do you recall in your interview with Detective Coates that evening stating that you could not provide any description of the occupants other than that they appeared to be African American?
Yeah, I remember saying that.
So it'd be fair to say that you observed African Americans in this vehicle that you saw, correct?
The reason why I came up with 3 or 4 people was because when I was walking by and I saw the car, there was 2 or 3 black males standing by the vehicle. There was at least 3 or 4 more on the porch. So I figured they were by the vehicle. It must have been the ones trying to hide the vehicle because they were standing in front of it or real close to it.
In your opinion, did it look like they were nervous or attempting to hide?
Well, everybody was running past them and walking really fast, and they were just standing around there. They were the only ones.
I suppose the people were running fast because they just seen like multiple bodies get plowed over, and they were all running so they wouldn't get run over. They're running so they wouldn't get. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, think about it. Oh my gosh, Brooks. Brooks. Lower life form. That's Brooks. Lower life form.
Was not doing much. So yeah, they stood out.
Now this is the question actually was in reference to when you spoke with Detective Coates that evening. It is in reference to seeing the vehicle in the parade as it passed you. Do you recall at that word escape as it passed you during the parade that evening?
No, I don't remember that.
Well, too bad. You should have stuck with the other answer.
The reason why the Detective Coates would report that that's what.
Maybe Detective Coates is a liar.
Like I said before, I saw two or three people by the vehicle, so I assumed they were with the vehicle. So they must have been in the vehicle during the parade. I saw the driver going by because he hit somebody right in front of us.
My dog is barking. You know what? This is so. If you see hands, fingers, dog barking, cat knocks it over, and you still can hear this thing, then just let's consider ourselves very
Do you
lucky.
recall in your interview with Detective Coates that evening stating that the three individuals, and I'm referring to who you saw next to the vehicle, so some clarification. The three individuals who were standing in a line, shoulder to shoulder, as African American males.
Yeah.
Maybe just
So it's
saying
fair to
that.
say that's what you observed that evening.
I saw at least two of them.
Where's the third
They
one?
were standing in front of it.
Brooks, you need to stop. You need to stop. Look, you were Lazcano is an eyewitness to you running over the people. You should have stopped a long damn time ago. I don't know why. You just woodpecker in a petrified forest. That's what he is.
And during that interview with Detective Coates that evening,
Mm.
do you recall stating to Detective Coates that you may be able to recognize the older male? So I'm assuming one of the individuals that you saw standing shoulder to shoulder was
I'm sorry. I don't know why this camera is positioned where you see my finger every time. I am delirious, guys. But when he said did he say the odor person? You know how when you get tired, you get, what do people say? These are things like my grandmother or my mother was punchy or slap happy, and I always go, slap me happy. Okay, they said odor. And so do you think that when the court reporter is typing his or her, well, I guess in this case we've seen like hers typing, ladies typing, do you think they have to type it like the way they say it, like odor and oath of office and all those things? Do you think they type it like, I think they would have to type it exactly how the person says it, wouldn't you think? Okay, let me try and see if I can turn this on without my finger appearing. Okay, you know what? Look, I'm just gonna you'll have to bear with me.
I don't remember.
So sorry. I didn't mean for you to miss that last part, but it's this is getting kind of boring and uneventful. But now we got to stick around to see what happens, though. This is, you know, it is. I'm telling you.
Any reason why multiple, well, I'm not going to say multiple, two. Any reason why the two detectives that you spoke with that night both reported
Both.
that you stated you saw 3 black subjects running from the vehicle?
No.
Both of them said it, though. By gosh. BOAF. Both.
And during the parade incident, were you or anyone you were with injured that evening?
No.
No further questions at this time.
Yeah, at this time. Did he say dis? Am I just hearing DIS?
Yes, Your Honor, thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Lazcano.
Good afternoon.
Sir,
Uh-oh.
you said you watched the parade near Curry Insurance, is that correct?
Yeah, right in front.
Okay. Do you remember, you said you saw the SUV strike some people in the parade? Yes? Do you remember what group of people in the parade? Can you remember anything about the name or the banner or the costumes or anything like that?
Objection leading.
Overruled, Ms. Cross.
No speculative.
Let's just make up words.
The witness may answer. I believe he said no. His answer may
Yeah, no, I don't remember.
Okay. Do you remember seeing the SUV strike more than one person?
Yeah.
Objection speculative.
Overruled.
No, it's not.
About how many people did you see the SUV strike, sir?
Objection speculative.
Overruled.
It was crowds. I mean, when it was coming through, because I was standing over my daughter and my wife, they were sitting on the curb. I saw it coming through, and at first it looked like it was just pushing people out of the way, and then it just kept swerving back, and it was just plowing everybody out of the way until it got to in front of us. Then it actually hit somebody, and it just
Oh,
like a car rolled in
that's
there.
horrible.
You remember that?
Yeah, it was right in front of us.
Yeah, that would be
And
something.
while the witness was giving the answer, not the last answer, but the one prior to that, he had his right hand in the air, directioning his hand from right to left, describing the vehicle coming from right to left. And then when he said he saw someone go into the air, he was
Look at
twirling his
Brooks.
fingers as if to say it kind of tumbled in the air. All right, go ahead.
Thank you. So, Mr. Lazcano, I want to talk about the moment when you located this vehicle on Maple, okay? I'm going to ask, Madam Clerk, could you please turn on the AV system? We're going to put up State's Exhibit 65.
Objection. Brooks. See? You're,
Objection to the relevancy of Exhibit 65.
oh, shut up. You don't know.
Noted, overruled. It's been received. The state may proceed.
All right, this total clip is 36 seconds, but before we begin to play it, sir, do you recognize the area on the screen that's
Yeah.
shown in this picture?
Yeah, I believe that's Central Middle School,
Where?
right at where the stairs is.
Okay, the red brick on the left side of the picture?
Yeah.
Objection
Okay.
speculative.
Overruled. His answer may stand. He said, I believe.
Speculative.
And would you agree with me, the house where the SUV was found was up in this area here where I just put the green dot on the screen?
Yeah.
Objection leading.
Overruled. You may answer.
Yes.
That looks right, correct, sir?
Objection leading.
Overruled.
All right, we're gonna clear the screen, please, and we're gonna play this entire clip for 36 seconds. Please watch and see if you see yourself or any of your family members in this clip.
Objection to the relevancy of this video to this particular witness.
Overruled. You may play the clip.
Overruled on what grounds, Your Honor?
Your stupidity. That's the grounds. Grounds.
Is that a tacit agreement?
Tacit agreement. Sometimes he does say tacit. I will give him that. But you know what? Just enough of the tacit agreements.
Sir, did you see yourself or your family in that clip?
Objection speculative.
Overruled.
No, I did not.
Okay. Now you said you did see by the time you walked past the car, you saw 2 or 3 black males standing near the car, right?
Objection, mischaracterization of this. Said 3. Specifically said the number.
Overruled.
And you also said you saw 2 or 3 what you thought to be black males on the porch of the residence there, correct?
Objection, stated it was black males. Asked and answered.
Overruled.
Asked and answered.
No,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, there was
Sorry, guys.
2 or 3 standing. by
Oh my
the
gosh,
vehicle.
the cat is coming near
And
me.
then on the porch, there
The
was
dog
maybe
is near
3 or
me.
4
So sorry, guys. Oh gosh, the cat's
people.
coming.
I don't know if
No,
they were- I'm sure they were
no,
white, but
no, no, no.
I was trying to
I am
not
so
make it out
sorry.
at
This
the
is-
time. I
So sorry,
believe that
guys.
they were with the vehicle, so I didn't want them to see that I saw them, so I just did what I
Understood.
thought was right at the time.
Sure. Do you happen to know the people that live at this house?
Objection, speculative.
Overruled.
No, I did not.
Would it be reasonable, do you think, Mr. Lazcano,
Don't do it,
that
Kat.
people living in the house heard the crash and came outside and that's who you saw?
Okay, I'm gonna see if the cat is going to. Thank you. They're just like they walk all over me. I mean, I do like them, but well, this was a brilliant choice for Brooks. He has another eyewitness that he gifted the prosecution. He must love them more than we thought.
Standing there by the vehicle?
Objection, there was never any crash mentioned.
I'll sustain. Calls for speculation.
Mr. Lazcano, is it possible that the people you saw standing near the vehicle were in fact just neighbors that saw the vehicle the same way you did?
Yeah.
You described
Because-
that
yeah,
at
that.
the time you went by on Maple Street, there was a lot of people running around in the area. Is that correct?
Objection, mischaracterization of testimony.
Overruled.
Yes, it was.
Sounds good,
These
Brooks.
are people hurrying away from the parade with their families, trying to get to safety, just like you were, correct?
Objection, speculative.
Overruled. The witness may answer.
Yes.
You didn't see anything like that in State's Exhibit 65, did you?
No, I did not.
Oh, he's getting a headache. Oh my goodness.
You said on direct
Oh, he just
examination
put the
that you
Bible.
saw the driver of the SUV in the parade. Is that right?
Yes, I did.
And you see that driver present in this courtroom here today, please?
Objection, speculative.
Overruled.
Yes, he's sitting right over there.
Are you sure about that, sir?
Yes.
Objection, speculative.
Overruled.
He thinks he's so good. That's what's even
You
terrifying.
said that-
Okay.
Mischaracterizes the testimony because that was not testified to before on direct.
Your objections are overruled. I believe the witness already answered. Go ahead.
Did you happen to notice in Exhibit 65 the red SUV in that video clip that you watched?
No.
You didn't see it
I
at
didn't
all,
see
did
it,
you?
no.
Okay, just wondered. Mr. Lazcano, have you and I ever spoken about this case, sir?
No.
What about Attorney Basie here to my right? You and her ever talk about this case or your testimony?
Objection, hearsay.
Overruled.
No.
Mr. Witchow on the end, did you ever talk to him about
Objection.
your testimony, sir?
Objection, hearsay.
Overruled.
No.
All right, thank you, sir. I don't have any other questions.
Thank you. Any redirect?
Yep.
Go
Ooh,
ahead.
I can't wait. You can do it. Okay, Brooks. Let's see. Ooh, look at him.
You stated that you saw the driver, correct? Of the SUV that you saw that day, correct?
Yes.
How did the driver look that day you saw him?
He had a scruffy beard. And he was a black male.
Did you see what the driver was wearing?
No, I don't remember that.
Did you see if the driver had any hair?
I don't remember that either.
Did you see if the driver had anything noticeable about their appearance, tattoos, scars, marks, anything like that?
No.
Oh God, he's getting very animated.
I saw the side, the profile, the side. You were flying fast down that street. I wasn't paying attention to the colored clothes you were wearing. And he was a black male. and had a scruffy beard. It's the first thing I told my wife, because he was a black guy driving.
You're just done with this guy. Come on, just be done.
And do you recall how long you were able to get a side view, as you called it, of the alleged driver?
Well, it had to be a couple seconds.
And in a couple seconds' time, you were able to make out the driver's profile and race just by a couple seconds.
Yeah. It's not hard.
Not
So if you were white or if you were black and if you had a beard or not, that's it. I don't know what color shirt you had on. If you had hair, a hat on backwards.
So that leads back to the question of,
Oh God, he looks so
is that the
pompous.
only person you saw in the vehicle?
From what I remember, yes. I saw the driver. Like I said before, the reason why I thought there was 3 or 4 because I saw 3 or 4 people around the vehicle when I spotted it.
So would it be
That's
fair,
the only reason.
would it be fair to say that when you spoke with 2 different detectives that evening, the evening of the parade,
Please don't say both. Please don't.
both of those
Oh,
officers
hell.
reported that you stated there were 3 or 4 people in the SUV as it passed you. Is that fair to say?
Oh, wait, can you repeat that again?
Please don't say both.
Just for clarification, you already stated previously in testimony that you spoke with 2 different detectives that evening, correct?
Yes, I did.
And both detectives that you
Both.
spoke with that evening,
Oh my God.
the evening of November 21st, 2021, you stated to both of those law enforcement
Gosh,
officers,
guys.
detectives,
This is like
that you
unreal.
observed 3 or 4 people in the SUV.
Like I said before, the reason why I said there must have been 3 or 4 was because they were standing by a vehicle. So I assumed that they were with the vehicle. I don't remember seeing them in the vehicle when you were hitting the people.
You stated this
Wait,
to both
both.
detectives, 2 different detectives,
Gosh.
the evening of November 21st, 2021. And this was in relation to what you saw.
Okay, can I just say, oh, that's a really good position. Look at that. So do you notice that he's getting more animated and his eyebrows are getting more crazy like they get when he gets irritated? And this is a witness he called for himself. And not that Lazcano is a bit fazed by Brooks, knowing that he can snap him like a twig or a toothpick. And he's going, both detectives. Detective said, you said this. Yeah, so whatever. But you know what? If he didn't remember, he didn't remember. You can't force him to say something that you want him to say. Oh my gosh, guys. He's not being nice to his own witness. But then think about it. He called poor Miss Duh-rell up there, hit her 4 children, and oh my God, and so many others that we still haven't seen yet. Well, some of us. Ooh, whoa.
From the vehicle at the parade, not where the vehicle was later found. Any reason why you stated to both detectives
Oh my God. Let's
in relation
drink
to
every
what
time
you saw at the parade.
he says both.
Why both detectives
Oh my God, it's like
in
it's
their
just,
reports stated that you told them that you observed 3 or 4 people in the SUV at the time of the parade.
So what's your question?
The question is, why did you report that to 2 different detectives on the same evening?
Like I told you before, when I walked past the vehicle, I spotted more than one individual standing in front of the vehicle. So I assumed they were with the vehicle. That's why I said they were inside.
I'm sorry.
That's why I said they were in the vehicle. I said there had to be at least 3 of them in the vehicle. That's the only reason I said that.
So why would you report that you saw this during the parade?
No.
And during both interviews with detectives that evening, the evening of November 21st, 2021, you also stated to both detectives that you observed 3 or 4 black or African American is the word used. 3 or 4 African Americans running from the vehicle. Any reason why both detectives reported that you said that?
okay, it's
No,
like,
remember?
No further questions.
Thank you, sir. You may stop
yeah,
now.
you really do need to stop. That was like, it's like the judge always says, it's a circular discussion.
What's up, guys?
Sorry about that. Yeah, it's a circular discussion. It is. He's just going on and on and on, but good for you, Lazcano. You kept your cool. And Derek. Who the heck is Derek? Where'd that come up? And Darrell is a fool. You're cool, and he's a fool. And I am so sorry. Look, in here we're just staring at this commercial that at least I would have cut out for you all, but it's just frozen now. But yeah, this has been a really jacked up, I know, recording with my hand and the cat and the dog almost knocking over and me bumping into things and my hand and fingers appearing. But you know what? Sometimes things, and not to say I don't need to improve on my technical stuff, but sometimes, it's good to have a little bit of fun, just lay back and not be perfect. I mean, but it will not be this bad the next time, I assure you. But I guess it's time for us to say good night. And obviously me, because I'm kind of losing my mind here right now. Not in a bad way, just how you get when you get a little tired and then you just keep hearing this Brooks over and over again. But anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this video, as weird as it was. But there's just another example of another one of his own witnesses he delivered to the prosecution. See, if he, just think about it, if he had never called Lazcano up, called him in as a witness, nobody would have known that he'd identified Brooks as the driver. So, way to go, Darrell. Okay, well, y'all be good or not, and be kind to one another, be kind to you. And really, we need to all laugh more, right? Because laughter is very healing. All right, till the next time.